Good evening, party people, and welcome back to the Bar with an X. My name is Cameron, and I'm happy to be your bartender this evening. Tonight, we expand upon the currently curated cocktail collection that features cocktails inspired by Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. For those of us who are joining a little bit later in this series so far, we've developed 4 cocktails so far. In the past, there was one stream before this. We have the Dupless cocktail, which is a kind of a weird, creamy, white chocolatey, like Long Island iced tea type thing. We have Madame Flurry, which is a cotton candy and mint flavored Royale type cocktail with some champagne or Prosecco poured on top. We have a Paper Mario cocktail, which is a riff on a paper plane. It's a shame that that hasn't been formally published before, but it just seems so obvious that we just had to do it. And then the last cocktail was the Black Chest, which is inspired by that curse that you get throughout the game, drawing upon some inspiration from the 4 heroes that are apparently as a part of the story of the Crystal Stars and the Black Chest and whatnot. Tonight we have 4 more cocktails that we'll be cranking out here before the end of the year. One inspired by Hooktail, the dragon, the first major boss in the game. She is a dragon who lives in a tall castle tower and has a fear of bugs. We'll get to it. It's all about the inspiration there. Another cocktail we'll have is inspired by an item that you find throughout the game. I don't remember if it's a cure-all or whether it's specifically like just cures poison or whatever. It's a tonic that's tasty. It's a tasty tonic, and we'll expand on how to make that later on as well. Next, we'll move on to a kind of odd cocktail inspired by another boss that you faced later on in the game that we fought, I think, like a week or 2 ago, called Smorg, a very odd creature that shows up more or less randomly at a train station and wrecks your train, or at least attempts to, as it becomes this weird conglomeration of a bunch of other shit and stuff. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. We'll get to it. Stay tuned for that. And then the last top cocktail we'll do is one inspired by one of our partners as well, Bobbery, quite literally the bomb diggity. A bit of a tiki tropical riff cocktail with some inspiration from Keelhaul Key, the island chapter in the game where you seem to have the most exposure to Bobbery in particular. Also, special note, I have some music from the game actually playing. I've messed around with my sound settings a little bit. If I seem too loud to you, or if the music is too loud to you, or if things need adjusting, feel free to let me know. Without further ado, let's continue on with this beautiful thing that we call life here. I see Brad is already here, subbing for 18 months so far. He's been around here for a hot minute. For that, get some party horns going on. And he also asked when's the next time he's gonna be up here at the Bar with an X. The Bar with an X is always accepting guests. Things are a little, just DM me if you want to do like a collab or anything like that. We love doing stuff like that. You have a nice balance. We will yell at you. Please do. Please do. Literally, if anything seems off balance here around here, this show is more or less just a passion project that could be something much more one day. Hopefully being something of professional quality one day. But until then, it's just kind of me, and I'm really happy with that. So I appreciate everybody's feedback on that. Because Cameron has other plans. I got so many plans. So without further ado, let's move our way into the first cocktail of the evening, which is inspired by our lovely yet terrifying, like princess queen of the first castle in Petalburg, Hooktail. Hooktail the dragon. So Hooktail the dragon is a bit of an interesting boss. There is I'll walk you through kind of what happened throughout the game. You find your way in Petalburg Meadow, where the local Koopas and stuff start to claim that evidently people are being just straight up eaten. People are being like whisked away from their homes as the dragon comes down to feed upon the villagers. That dragon is Hooktail. She lives in her castle, she guards her treasure trove, and there's a bunch of things that happen in this castle. And apparently, she has no conceivable weaknesses. Except for one. In order to start doing damage to Hooktail, you need to find a certain badge in Hooktail Castle, a sound effect badge, that makes you make certain sounds when you whack your hammer or things like that. And that sound that Hooktail hates so much is the sound of a cricket. The sound kind of goes like, kind of like that. There's a bunch of different sound badges and whatnot that you can get throughout the game. If you equip all of them, they will make more or less a random sound, one of X number of badges that you have equipped on them, depending on how many that you have. There's a sound effect of the crickets. There's one of, it sounds like Peach going, ah! There's one of Bowser going, ah! And I think the other one's kind of like a spring sound, like a boing, or something like that. But in any case, we'll move on to Hooktail. Because Hooktail has a certain fear of cricket sounds, crickets and insects and stuff, I thought it would be oddly appropriate to do a bit of a twist on a grasshopper cocktail, which usually calls for some heavy cream, some creme de menthe, and creme de cacao. It's almost a little York peppermint patty-ish, if you're familiar with that. Definitely less on the chocolate side, much more on the mint side, and it's got a very silky, very creamy mouthfeel to it. And when I remember a while ago, I was at a bar in Philadelphia called the Casbah, and this was very early on in my drinking career. It might have been too early in my drinking career, come to think of it. But I walked up to the bar, and I was like, I want you to give me the weirdest cocktail that you have. She was like, the bartender was like, weirdest cocktail? You ever have a grasshopper? And I was like, that sounds weird. It was oddly pleasant. I don't remember exactly what the, what the specifics of the grasshopper cocktail are like in terms of its history and stuff, but we proceed nonetheless. Let me change my, doing a little thing with the stream over here. I forgot to change myself to the food and drink category. That is important because we are not actually playing video games this time, but they are inspired by such. In any case, this riff on the grasshopper features a little bit of a twist. Hooktail is also a dragon. I've mentioned that before. Hooktail can breathe fire. She has abilities and whatnot. So I figured it'd be, I don't know of a sort of cinnamon forward or cinnamon-esque grasshopper cocktail. And so that's what we've created here. And we've got a little special surprise and stuff too. We've been working on a bunch of different things at the Bar with an X, including different garnishing techniques, different infusion techniques. I hope to be able to showcase some of those this evening to help us all learn around here. I'll repeat for the sake of repeating, because apparently it takes on average 7 times for it to get through to people's heads, and it probably takes about 9 to get through my head. This is a place more or less of learning. I am by no means a professional bartender. I will own up to that right off the bat, but I am learning along my journey just as much as everybody else is. And honestly, if there's anything that we can wind up learning together, shout your ideas out, get your mind rolling, and if you have something that you're passionate about, it doesn't have to be alcohol or cocktails or anything like that, let us know. We got a community for that, a beautiful Discord community, which I like to call home. It's fun. In any case, let's get started here. I've dabbled on long enough. What we're going to need for a Hooktail cocktail is we're going to need a shaker. This is a shake and drink. The idea of the shake in this case is to further texturize that heavy cream that goes into it later. Speaking of which, let's go get some ice from our freezer over here. I tend to do 1 big cube and a couple of little cubes. It just kind of makes things easier for me. And evidently, my ice did not completely freeze, despite the fact that it's been sitting for 24 hours. It's never happened to me. Wow. Okay, well, we will take what I have, and it hopefully doesn't water down my drinks too much. That's so interesting. Huh. This is fresh ice from yesterday. Look at that. Well, I hope my small cubes aren't like that. Yeah, wow, my small cubes are like that. I wonder if... This is so interesting. My ice cubes are actually not... Oh, they're so liquid right now. What is up with that? Let me double check to make sure that this thing is plugged in and operating, because that is honestly kind of weird. So let me check that. Let me check that. Everything seems to be on. No worries. We have a giant freezer downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs real quick just to make sure we have enough ice for the stream. Enjoy the music while I'm gone, I suppose. I see Lycos out there saying, good evening, my bro. Is your freezer dying? I don't know. I don't know. It feels pretty cold in here. But to be fair, it could feel colder. This is super interesting. It's possible that I just didn't have enough time for things to freeze. That's the first time that it's taken more than that amount of time for things to freeze on me. So yeah, the ice on the bottom seemed to freeze okay. So I got some big cubes up here. I'll take these little cubes and I'll put them back inside, and I'll go get some more cubes from downstairs. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. I thought that it'd be best to have fresh ice cubes. Evidently, it just ain't fresh enough. Be back in a hot second. We've always got backups around here. That's the way the pros do it. Seriously though, this wouldn't be a very good cooking show if we didn't do literally everything prep in advance just so you don't have to sit there and watch. We got plenty of ice. It just didn't happen to be in the ice location that I wanted it to be in. I'm just gonna put this, I have a cooler. I'm just gonna put this in the cooler so that my ice doesn't melt immediately. Alright, I needed 2 little cubes, so let me grab a couple of ice cubes from over here. Okay. On with the cocktail. These are the good big ice cubes. Continue along. The show must go on. I see my dearest popping in saying, could be too fresh. It could be Big total giant thing. Production value is like, literally though. All right, so we need to actually add liquid to our shaking apparatus, because if you don't, there's nothing to drink. Unless you put ice in it and you let it sit for a while, in which case there will be stuff to drink. It'll just be water. It just has it's got a flavor associated, and we think flavors are cool around here. So let's grab our ingredients. I needed the heavy cream from the fridge. I was going over to get that when I was subsequently distracted by other things. We're gonna add we got heavy cream in this one. We've got Creme de Cacao and Creme de Menthe. We've got Fireball whiskey, which, despite the fact that it appears that it's in a raspberry jam jar, it's Fireball whiskey, and it's the same bottle of Fireball whiskey that I've been working with for like years now. I'm just trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to be creative. It's not my cop-out. I don't use it very often, but when I can, take the opportunity. And we're also gonna add some Angostura Bitters. The Angostura Bitters in this case adds to that cinnamon flavor, and also adds a bit of a pinkish color to the cocktail. Now, previously, oh, hello, Emily. I see Emily popping in. Production. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the last time I streamed for cocktails, I was kind of giving the spiel about how I'm really trying to focus on like the kind of picture aspect of things, and how we're trying to focus in on the cocktail photography and stuff. Turns out, when you don't cocktail stream every single week, you have plenty of time to do that stuff in the background. And I made my own executive decision that instead of focusing on all those more or less what I would even call more boring aspects of the process, I'm gonna get straight to the cocktail stuff. I'll take a couple pictures as we normally do. I don't want to distract and drag on with anything. I think of it this way. When I go out there and I try to look for cocktail content, I'm like, can you just give me the recipe already? And in the sake of your busy life and my own busy life, I want to give the same respect to you as apparently I give off to other people, which, now that I think about it, might not be too much. But in any case, let's continue on with that. Richno says, can you weigh the cream and tell us how heavy it is? Well, oddly enough, Rich, and it's on the other side of the bar, because I was making syrups here the other day, and it's right next to my giant-ass thing of sugar. You can weigh it. How heavy? Let's see what the scale do. This is the kind of stuff we come here for. It's weighed out to 0 grams. I want it in ounces. Ounces? G's. GN. Ounces. How many ounces? This is in weight, apparently. 14.68 ounces. I'm talking ounces in terms of pounds and stuff. It is also, for our friends across the pond, 416.1 grams. And that answers that question. Let's take, of the however many ounces we had in there, let's add 2 of them to our cocktail shaker. I'm gonna put the liquid ingredients over here. My ice is diluting over here. It's coming up to temperature. You're gonna produce a little bit of water. We'll dump off that water before adding everything else. So that's just how we do it around here. I like to give this a little shake. I found it kind of leaking and stuff the other day. This is fresh. This is like within the last day or two, so it is as fresh as it's gonna get. We need to add 2 ounces, or just about 59 milliliters of heavy cream. That is a very, very, very thick cream, my goodness. A pint is a pound the world around, and then a pint is like 16 ounces. Yeah, that makes sense. Does it weigh as much as a duck? Duck. Heavy cream duck? Maybe, all knows. Emily asked, I almost missed this. I was looking forward to the stream yesterday, and when it hit 8 o'clock p.m., I realized it was Tuesday. Tuesday, you say. You might have been confused, too, about Monday. It was Christmas on Monday. We practice, and so therefore, I was indisposed with my family. I'm sure you'll understand. Same thing will happen on Monday, because it's New Year's, and I will be drinking, which means I won't be drinking here, oddly enough. So after we add our heavy cream, where's the best place to... Ingredients passed. Put that off to the side. Next we'll add about 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of Creme de Cacao. An original Grasshopper recipe. I actually had 2 ratios that I tried. One from a book, which is a beautifully illustrated book, and I think it was by Caroline Boyk Purdue, I believe. I can't exactly remember what the book is called, but it's a beautiful cocktail book. It's got like a blue cover to it. It's beautifully illustrated. And the ratio for the Grasshopper in that was 3/4 ounce Creme de Cacao, 3/4 ounce of Creme de Menthe, and it was like a 1/2 ounce of heavy cream, maybe 1/4 ounce. It was a 3-to-3-to-1 ratio of cremes to cream, and it just didn't taste right. And then I went on looker.com, and it was a 1-to-1-to-2 ratio of the cremes to the cream, which much more on the cream than otherwise, and I tended to like that a lot better, a lot more cream to it. But you kind of have to drink it quickly, because it kind of thickens up a little bit, and it's kind of unpleasant if you decide to drink it like an hour later. This does not follow that recipe. Instead, in addition to our 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of creme de cacao, we're gonna add a half an ounce, or about 15 milliliters of creme de menthe. The reason we do that is, to me, the creme de menthe is a bit forward on flavor, and I want it to play around nicely with the cinnamon whiskey, the Fireball in this case. So, that's how we do it that way. I see Kaylin popping in on the YouTube chat saying, hey, Cameron with the X, that's me. I'm Cameron with the X, head bartender with an X here at the bar with an X. You got that? It's a bit of a mouthful, some would say. So now we've added our creme de cacao, we've added our creme de menthe, we've added our whipping cream. Those are all the original ingredients that would go in a regular grasshopper. But Hooktail's a fit of crickets. So what makes a cricket different? I've eaten crickets before. There was a jalapeno one. It's pretty all right. Lycos Laura's eaten crickets. Cheddar cheese one too. It's good stuff. Or so they say. But in this case, we want to add some cinnamon to it because she's literally a fire-breathing dragon. And like, that's freaking awesome. And to me, that strikes cinnamon. So we're gonna add a 1/4 ounce or about 7 milliliters of cinnamon whiskey. In my case, I have some Fireball, and it works well. Honestly, it might seem that you want to add like more than a 1/4 ounce to this, but Fireball has a very distinctive taste to me, and it carries over. It carries through. And I don't think we need that much of it. We only want just enough to make the point that this is a fiery cocktail. We don't want it all in your face. Not like those fraternity parties of the past where you just like all the Fireball. And then we're gonna add about a 1/4 ounce. I think when I was workshopping this, I added like 5 to 6 dashes of Angostura Bitters, and then I just jacked it up a little bit. We're actually gonna take our Angostura Bitters, we're gonna take our top off, our little dashing thing, state our fingers a little bit, a bit of a murder scene. And we're gonna add a 1/4 ounce of our Angostura Bitters. Honestly, with the way that the cream plays with everything, I don't find that those really harsh bitter notes of the Angostura do too much, aside for just color. The idea, and my lighting might not compensate that a little bit, it's possible that it's going to have a pink hue to everybody. It's also possible not. The lighting around here is not super good, I promise you. When the final photos are taken, which I will be doing on my time and not on your time, because I think this is more valuable. If you disagree with that, please feel free to let me know. This can be whatever you want it to be, if you so choose to share your thoughts on it. But I'll put that up on Instagram later. I'm behind on the Instagram, by the way. I've been very, very behind on things because planning a wedding and stuff. So I'm sorry, but it'll get there eventually. Oh, Imichar said I messaged on the wrong app. Whoops. Oh, hey, it has app icons. It does. It does. But the commands don't yet work cross-platform yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's complicated. In any case, now we have all of our ingredients in there. We have our Angostura Bitters, about 7 milliliters, a 1/4 ounce. Same amount of Fireball or cinnamon whiskey. We have a 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of creme de menthe, a full ounce or 30 milliliters of creme de cacao, and 2 full ounces or about 59 milliliters of heavy cream. It has to be the heaviest cream. That's what it allows for the texture buildup. My ice has been freezing, coming up the temperature, the opposite of freezing. So I'm gonna dump out the water, the residual water, because I don't really want that dilution. I want to control it this way. That's the way things go. We'll add liquids into solids, and then I guess go the other way around because I put them in the wrong sized containers. These are also new shakers too, so got these for Christmas. Put it the other way around. There we go. And when I was using these last night, it didn't have a very good seal. Well, we'll see whether or not this actually works. So let's go for it. It's got a lot of cream in there, so I figure you shake it a little bit more vigorously than usual. Now, let's grab a little coupe glass that I've had chilling over here, and we'll pour it out. This is what we're gonna do. I'll prepare you first, and we're gonna do it all at once. I'm gonna take a little faux glass, I'll put it in the spot that we wanna do at. Bring it over here, let me swap to the cocktail angle. That's Control Numpad 5 for those who are seasoned in this. And we'll bring it over here. I did a little bit of changing of this. I believe the lag should be more or less fixed. I could be wrong about that, but I was doing a little bit of playing around before the stream happened, so let's see how that works. Let me get this up to a level where it looks okay. Oh, then you need to be... There we go. There we go. I missed Control Numpad digit. There's actually another Control Numpad digit, and it's number 2. What does that do again? Turns off chat, but I don't really want to do that. Lo and behold, I actually kind of like chat. So I'm just going to stage this up just to make sure. I'm got the right thing. Can you see the top of it? You can, but I want to see a little bit more of that. Yes, absolutely. Do it right there. That's looking okay. Comes the cocktail. All right, I got a little bit of cream on that. It's okay. Just wipe it off on your shirt. It's fine. Unless you're at a bar. I guess you can still do it at a bar too. Who's really judging, to be perfectly honest? So what we're gonna do is we're going to pour this with a small, just a regular strain. We're not gonna double strain this into a chilled coupe glass. So I'll grab that from the freezer. We'll put it on top, and then the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to garnish it. We're gonna garnish this with some grated cinnamon, pre-grated, because I don't get the same quality when I use my mortar and pestle that you can get when you spend $2.50 at your local Giant. And we're going to actually do a stencil this time. I've never done cocktail stencils before, but it seemed to drop upon us the technology to be able to create cocktail stencils. So I made one of these guys. This is a little Hooktail cocktail stencil, and although it doesn't work as perfectly as intended, you'll see on the top of this thing a little visage of our favorite dragon, queen, princess, whatever you call her. And here we go. We're gonna try that. So we'll go to the freezer, grab our chilled coupe glass. It's not as chilled as it could be, but it is pretty chilled. There we go. Put that over here. There we go. We'll grab a strainer. We'll pop this off. This does not keep a very good seal. I'm not very happy about that, but it's whatever. Just gotta get some wear and tear into it. Pop the strainer on. We'll pour that over top. It does have a bit of a nice red color to it. And a bit of a texture too. Just a bit of a texture too. There we go. It does kind of look pink from your angle. Very good. There we go. That's all of our pink. Now, let's get a stencil. See if they can look that nice for y'all. We're just gonna pop that up on top. And I'm just gonna hope to goodness that this works as good as I want it to. Really, I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna go absolutely wild on this. And hopefully, when I do the reveal, we have a little Hooktail on there. Honestly, could probably be better. But we have it okay. And that's our Hooktail cocktail with a lot of cinnamon on it. Lots and lots of cinnamon on it. I think my stencil probably could have been in a better location, but this is Hooktail. Let me try to get a little better angle. So, bring you up a little bit. Gonna angle you down just a tad. Here we go. Gonna turn you just a bit. There we go. And here we go. Here's your Hooktail. And that's your Hooktail cocktail. Thanks for playing, everybody. It's a beautiful little Hooktail there. Just to make sure that everything's still working around here, we're gonna try that and see what happens. And hopefully it does work quite well. I could be wrong. It does tend to take a little while now, but it does kind of work. Perfect, that's your Hooktail cocktail. In any case, now the question may be, what does it taste like? I actually kind of like the way that this looks with the whole grated thing. It's a bit of a weird image of Hooktail, but you can kind of make it, like if you're familiar, if you know what's going on, it's not too bad. I'm trying to figure out better ways to create the stencils such that it's a little better. This is subpar. This is my first time doing this, so no judgment zone here. Garrett says, beautiful butterfly. It is a beautiful butterfly, is it not? It's definitely not a dragon. It's great. It does look like Hooktail as seen from above. There we go. And that's really what it's all about. Let me take my own little Grams picture. I'll be doing some better cocktail photos probably after the holiday season, because this is the time. This is the time for cheer. Time for cheer and time for fun. Actually, what am I kidding myself? Let me go around to the front. Pictures always look better from your guys' angle. So I'm gonna go over here and do it that way. Just a little bit. Just a little bit so I can have my fun, and then we'll taste it and see what happens. Again, this is kind of one that you want to drink a little bit faster because the cream eventually does its due. You don't really want that. Because the creamy dew part. Yeah, it's just kind of how it is. Alright, here I come. Come back. Oh, it looks great. It looks great. Okay, let's pop back. Let's pop back. Ooh. You love it. It's a cinnamony one. It's a cinnamony one. Okay, so this is a riff on a Grasshopper. I am expecting notes of mint, Expecting notes of cocoa, expecting notes of cinnamon for sure. I'm actually gonna sip from the side that doesn't have as much cinnamon on top, so I'm just not overwhelmed. It does smell like cinnamon, very much so. Gosh, I love that. I love, okay, at work, I've been munching on these little peppermint candy cane Hershey Kisses. Got like, oh my god, the, what do you call it? It's got the candy cane, it's got the peppermint, it's got the white chocolate. It almost tastes like cookies and cream. That's what this reminds me. It's so good. I've been eating so many of those. There's like a big pile of wrappers in my coffee cup on my desk. It's like a candy cane mixed with, oh, you know what? You know what? Memories of Christmas passes. The little chocolate candy canes? They're a little brown, maybe? Oh, that's what it tastes like. Just a little bit. And I say peppermint specifically because peppermint to me has a little bit of a spicy kick to it. The Fireball is doing that. It's not super cinnamon forward, but a little bit on the back as you kind of breathe in and then back out. There's that cinnamon flavor. And it's like, it's so light, but it's so refreshing. And it coalesces super duper well with that sort of creamy texture from the heavy cream. Again, the longer this sits for, the kind of more hard and oxidized it's going to get. So if this was one of yours, you would probably want to take this down rather quickly to pave the way for your next Hooktail or a Grasshopper if you want a little taste of the original. That is our Hooktail. And I'm actually curious to see how it tastes if I just sip straight into the cinnamon. It's honestly not too bad. It's honestly not too bad at all. Garrett_Matthew says, ooh, OMG, I want one. Here you go. Just a little, take a little sip. And then I drop it on my floor and make an absolute mess over here. That's our Hooktail cocktail. A riff on the Grasshopper because Hooktail is afraid of the sounds or cringes at the sound of crickets, which I don't know if are in the same family. You know what, Alexa, are crickets and grasshoppers related? Alexa, are crickets and grasshoppers related? Yes. Yes. Orthopteran. Insects that chirp and look similar. Alexa, stop. I think that's enough. Thank you very much for that. So crickets and grasshoppers are similar, so this is a totally valid cocktail interpretation. Great, cool. We're gonna go on to the next one. But first, I want to do a little bit of cleanup over here. So this is wonderful. This is great. Cocktail one already out of the way. It's so easy. So easy to do cocktails, my gosh. Do you think, are you a fledgling mixologist and think that cocktail mixology is difficult? Well, guess what? It's not. But you do have to put in the effort of getting the proper bottles and stuff if you are following a recipe, or give yourself a good enough selection of ingredients to mess around with if you want to err towards the mixology side of things, which is, I don't know. I would say it's distinctly different from the bartending aspect, but that's just my own internal quarrel of bartender, mixologist. I think bartenders are, and again, these definitions are by no means absolute or mutually exclusive. Bartenders tend to mix the recipes and serve, as opposed to a mixologist, which more create the recipes. And I guess that's kind of where I draw the line there. I would err more on the side of wanting to be more a mixologist. That's what I'm trying to do a little bit more these ways, of playing around with flavor combinations and riffs on classic cocktails to make new cocktails and bring them into the world. And actually, I've really been trying to lean into that a little bit with some of the content that I've been absorbing. I recently wished for Christmas and received from the Santa Claus this book called The Flavor Matrix, which has a bunch of diagrams and stuff on it about different flavor components of, I don't know, various things that exist in the world, like cocoa, for instance, and otherwise. And it's basically gives a list of, let me bring the cocktail angle over here, because I think this is a really, really cool resource for anybody who's trying to do mixology stuff. I haven't gotten super far through it yet, but you can see here, it's got things like a matrix here, where cocoa apparently has some vegetal characteristics, fruity characteristics, more so on the, this is Maillard, side of things with beef, chicken, turkey, bourbon whiskey, and whatnot, and the earthy tides there. And if you find something over here like, for example, popcorn, you may find other things in here that also have a popcorn characteristic. I'm gonna see if I get lucky with this one. Poultry has a popcorn characteristic. That's kind of fair. I don't know what else is in here. I haven't explored this very much, but it looks like it's going to be a really, really good resource for people who want to actually mix cocktails. I'll keep that up here for now, for anybody's curious. Now, that's blocked by the Thankmas QR code. By the way, we're still raising money for the World Central Kitchen. There's a QR code up in that corner over there. If you scan it and donate, we will blow up a balloon for you and then pop it at the very end because we care for charity. You can also donate in the Twitch chat too. We'll be expecting donations, at least for our scheme here, until the end of the year. And because this is the last cocktail stream before the end of the year, this is your last chance to donate for the World Central Kitchen with our hashtag HippoHype campaign if you want me to blow up a balloon in your honor and then subsequently pop it. If I make sure to remember. I think your overlay covers the book. Yeah, it kind of does. Let me put it right here. I'll move these guys out of the way. I think this is a great resource. I say, having not gotten through this book just yet. Buy it for your friends. Buy it for your family. It's an expensive book. I don't get any commissions on purchases like that. I don't know how to set that stuff up yet. In any case, Hooktail cocktail is done. Let me get a coaster. This coaster brought to us by the Thirsty Dice Board Game Cafe. Not sponsored at all, but they're really, really close by, and they serve drinks and stuff, and I think that's wonderful. Here, take a drink there, Pikachu. That's great. Brad says, so you can put the book up there, or you can just put it on the book, whatever, you know, because the QR code is overlaid on the bar with an X. That's true. It's like, it's on the X. You notice we have an X here now? That was another Christmas present. It's about time we get an X on there. There's actually X's everywhere. You can't necessarily see them all at the same time. There's an X here. Ooh, I modified my thing. There's an X here, there's an X there, there's an X on the front, there's X's on the back. It's wild. One day I'll have an X tattooed on my wrist, and it's going to be just freaking wonderful. In any case, that was our Hooktail cocktail. I would say it is very, very good. It's a very, very good cocktail. I don't know, in terms of balance and whatnot, I don't know if it's particularly balanced. I, for one, wanted something that was a little more cinnamon forward, and this is like hint of cinnamon, even with the Angostura, even with the Fireball cinnamon whiskey in there, and that's okay to me. And I think that's fine for my particular taste palette. You could probably, if you were a little more into cinnamon, you could bounce up the Angostura or the cinnamon. If you want to dial back on the mint a little bit, kind of like what we did over here, you could keep the proportions there. And if you want more, honestly, it's not even super duper chocolatey. But Creme de Cacao is not super duper chocolatey on its own. If you wanted to make it even more chocolatey, you could probably use like a Godiva, like either milk chocolate, dark chocolate, or white chocolate liqueur in place of the Creme de Cacao. And you might be able to cut back a bit on the heavy cream if you wanted something that was a little more chocolate forward. And those would be my suggestions if you wanted to riff that I made on the one riff, because I think it's helpful for people out there who are trying to do things more akin to their taste buds. So in that case, it's free things that I give to you. Brad says, Thirsty Dice is in the general area. I had a cheesesteak near there once. Philadelphia is known for their cheesesteaks. Okay, so now that we've done the Hooktail cocktail, we'll move on to our next cocktail this evening. After I get a sip of water, I'm feeling a little parched over here from the mass amounts of cinnamon that just entered my gullet. Feels good. How's the music sounding for y'all, by the way? I love this. I love Paper Mario music. Got some pedal metals going? All right. I need to fill up on some water, so I'll vibe with y'all for a little bit. Oh, who's in here? Oh, a donation to the World Central Kitchen from Brad. More than awesome. $150 on the Twitch site. Thank you, sir. Got my party box back here for just an occasion like this. I just dumped a whole bunch of glow sticks all over the floor. That's a large ass donation. Here's some glow sticks. I don't know what else I'm gonna use these things for, so special donation with glow sticks and stuff. I'm gonna put that there for a little bit before subsequently throwing them off the counter. Where's my balloon here? Balloon time! Orange balloon! Thank you, Brad! Thank you so much for contributing to the World Central Kitchen. Thank you very, very much. We were trying to reach a total goal of about $500 in total donations this year. We started at about, I think we ended at about 300. At the end of the Thankmas stream itself, we were hanging with Lycos Lore. We received a $50 donation afterwards, and with this 150, I think we've actually reached our $500 mark. So thank you, everybody, so much for helping us reach this goal. It doesn't show on the bar up there because that's through Tiltify, but it does show on the Twitch bar, which for some reason I can't find an overlay for. So thank you, everybody, so much who's contributed for all this. More than awesome, aka MTA, aka Brad, for the Hundo 150. What a generous soul. That man is a generous soul both in here and out there. Let me tell you, I can personally speak to his magnanimousness. Thank you, Brad. I'm gonna put this in the most non-threatening location I have, which is with all of the glasses over in the corner. Great. And I'm gonna make sure I write a note for myself to pop the balloons. I'm gonna write that somewhere. I'll write it right here. Pop the freaking balloons, Cameron. Don't forget. Don't forget to pop the balloons. Pop. Pop. Pop, 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 pop. I'm gonna put that right over there. Hopefully, oh, I can put it over here. There we go. Don't forget to pop the balloons. Great. I'm okay. I do what I can. I do what I can, like everyone else does. And he's humble too. Anyways, look at these glow sticks. There we go. Beautiful. I love the way I love the way that things sound when they hit the floor. Any case, continuing on with this beautiful celebration of mixology that we have here, the next cocktail we have is one called the Tasty Tonic. The Tasty Tonic, as it may seem. Let me click a button over here. I don't remember what button it is. Is it that one? No, I don't know what button it is. It's okay, I'll go through it later. The Tasty Tonic is an item that appears throughout the games. It appears in the original Paper Mario game, and it also appears in Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. The Tasty Tonic in the Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, I think, is a cure-all. It might just cure poison. It's honestly pretty cheap. I think it might just cure poison. I think it's 3 gold on the Poshly Express, I believe. You can buy it in a variety of different places in the game, and I believe you can also create it in the game as well. But where I draw the inspiration from the Tasty Tonic from, it was actually an idea from, I think I posted the Paper Mario cocktail on Paper Mario subreddit, and somebody was like, you should do the Tasty Tonic. And I thought, like, okay, well, if I was doing the Tasty Tonic, I'd probably try to follow the recipe as best as I could, because in Paper Mario, you can create a Tasty Tonic in a variety of different ways. Those ways include cooking an apple, cooking a lime, cooking a lemon, and cooking a bubbleberry. I believe those are the 4 single ingredient combinations. You might be able to cook a coconut in there, I'm not exactly sure. The other way with the 2 ingredient combination is you can cook with a variety of other ingredients. I can't remember the other one does, but the other ingredients that you could use to create a Tasty Tonic include coconut. It could also include, I mentioned apple, lime, and lemon already, and bubbleberry, nondescript red berry, nondescript blue berry, and nondescript yellow berry. So it got me thinking, okay, well, if I was to create a Tasty Tonic, what would that be? Obviously, it'd be a gin and tonic. It'd be pretty boring if it wasn't like super duper tasty and feeling a little tropical and feeling a little fruity and just gin and tonic. To me, gin and tonics are just a little on the bitter side. It's tonic. It's a lot of tonic water in it. And you can sweeten that with simple syrup and stuff, but it just didn't seem like enough. So if you take into consideration the lemon, the lime, the apple, the coconut, the nondescript red berry, aka strawberry in this case, the nondescript blueberry, which is a blueberry in this case, an actual blueberry, and the nondescript yellow berry, which just so happens to be some star fruit that I just happen to have laying around. Totally no foreshadowing there. And you put that all into a gin and tonic, what do you get at the other side? Well, ladies and gentlemen, those who fall in between or beyond, if you put all that stuff in a container of gin and you just let that sit for a while, you get this really, really awesome red colored gin that actually I put this. I cut all the fruits on stream like a week or so ago. It was great. It's so good. Anna interruption, I made your boutonniere. Thank you, dearest. Anna's working on the flowers for the wedding right now, and I'm sure it looks beautiful, because I've seen a bunch of the other flowers that she's doing, and they look great. Much support to Disney Queen for putting in probably 75, 80 plus effort for the wedding that we're having, because it's tough to do all this stuff when you're trying to be a working man, paying the bills, bringing home the cheese and stuff. Thank you, Anna, very much. This next one goes out to my dearest, Tasty Tonic. She's the tastiest tonic of all. and we're gonna try not to look into that a little too close, because then it just starts to get a little bit weird. But if you if you take coconut flakes, chopped up blueberries, chopped up strawberries, chopped up star fruit, chopped up apple, chopped up lemon, chopped up lime, and I think I mentioned the coconut flakes, and you put that all into gin, you get something kind of like this. A lot of the color takes from the strawberry, and if you used that with the fruit flesh, you would get something like this. And if you took the actual peels and pits and stuff and you cover that in sugar, you can actually create what's called an oleosaccharum, which is essentially sugar ripping out oils from the peels and other fruit detritus and stuff. These are the two things that you can create by basically taking fruit scraps and using them in various different ways. So this is the flesh, you put it in gin, got a very, very nice color there, the red there, and if you take the skin and cover it in sugar, you'll get a little something just like this. The oleosaccharum is basically just pure sugar that's been moistened with oil. That'll come back later on. We're not actually using that for this one, but it will come up later on when things get weird. It's not just quite weird yet. Making dat cheddar. Good job, Anna. Has Anna vetted this cocktail? She did taste the tasty tonic, and according to her, it was at least a little bit tasty. I believe I tested this one at our parents' house over the weekend. It was okay. So now, the hard part of this tasty tonic has been done for you. The tasty tonic is a lot of sitting around and waiting for things to infuse. But once you have your infused fruit gin, we're gonna do stuff with it. Now, please note, when I was listing all the ingredients, I did not say that bubbleberry was included in this infusion, because I don't know what the heck a bubbleberry is. The only thing that I can think of that equates to a bubbleberry is going to be bubble gum. So, a while ago, we created some bubblegum infused vodka, which is going to take the place of the bubbleberry part of the tasty tonic recipe from Paper Mario. We're pulling that together. And of course, it wouldn't be a tasty tonic gin and tonic without some sort of tonic water, which in this case is going to be some Fever Tree. I think that this is a nice, smooth, rather sweet, not as forward on the bitter tonic, and I think it had a very, very good place in this tasty tonic that we have here. And there'll be a special garnish surprise at the end because the item in the game has this orange flower on it. And I tried to do that as best as I could with something I found on Pinterest, and like a lot of things where you try to replicate what you see on the internet, it didn't quite go as planned, but we're rolling with it because the show must go on. I see The Mix popping in here saying party time. The gin and tonic sound next level. It's not just the next level, it's a level above, because everything, aside from the tonic water, I guess, is kind of homemade. What else am I missing from there? Oh, I forgot the other ingredient. You also combine nondescript red berry or nondescript blueberry or nondescript yellow berry or blah 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 whatever with honey syrup in the game. So obviously, we use some honey syrup. Made it plenty. It's so easy to make honey syrup. You literally put water and honey together. This is not the honey syrup I usually have. It was some local honey from back in New Jersey. So it might have a different flavor than what I originally mixed this with. That's just kind of what you get. With this in particular, your bubblegum vodka is going to vary. Your mileage may vary on that. Your fruit gin is going to vary depending on how much stuff you put in there. Apparently, strawberry leaches its colors very, very easily. So that's why this turned to be really, really red. The actual tasty tonic is blue, but this is our real life interpretation. And again, our mileage may vary. And same thing with your honey. Your mileage is going to vary there too because bees are bountiful. And all of them are slightly unique based off of the terroir of the area. That's a French term, I believe. It's the taste of the land, as if you were to go down and lick the beehive, which I've never done before, but I came dangerously close to doing so at least on one time. And that's all we have. We're gonna put this into a glass, we're gonna build it over ice. It's actually very, very simple. And what I'm gonna do is I will give y'all the recipe as I build this, but I'm actually gonna use double a recipe because I'm using a bigger glass. Because I think this is a delicious, delicious interpretation of things. So what we're going to add is we're going to unscrew, as best as we can, this fruit gin of ours, and we're gonna add 1.5 ounces or about 44 milliliters of our fruit gin. So let's go with that. Remember, I'm gonna double things up on my side because I have a very large glass over here. Oh, but before I do so, you need to fill your glass with ice. And we had a bit of an ice malfunction, but it's not as bad as it may seem because I've got a giant freaking freezer downstairs, and I keep extra ice on us at all times. And that's the pro mixology move. Look at those in there. Big ol' ice cubes. Big ol' cubes. Big ol' cubes. You're gonna fill it all the way to the top with ice cubes. Ow, I'm trying not to flick things in your face. There we go. Great. Bye, Escapes. Very, very good. I love making loud sound effects on stream. Brad says, I have been a part of streams where you double the pours. I still didn't remember that drink. I think it was the Negronatini. I feel like I doubled the pours on the Negronatini because it came out weird. It came out very weird indeed. But again, we're adding 1.5 or 1.5 ounces or about 44 milliliters of your fruit-infused gin. Your mileage is going to vary. Mine infused for about, mine infused for about how many hours? About like 24 hours, I think, before I separated things off. Let me put you over there, and let me bring the cocktail angle around, and we'll watch this thing get built, because it's built in the glass itself. Hello, cocktail angle. I'll actually move you over here. I'll pop you down here. I'll push you back a little bit. I have a different boom arm, so it's a little bit difficult to maneuver. But if I click this button combination over here, put it to the other side. Can you move this back a little bit? No. You don't have to do that. We'll move this back a little bit. Aha! Yes, indeed. We'll bring this up a little bit. Yes, we do, because there'll be a garnish at the end. Super special garnish. Super special, non-descript amount of double bubble gum to infuse with vodka. It's quite simple. You take it, the bubble gum I mean, and you put it in the vodka, and then you let that sit. As soon as the bubble gum has lost all of its color, and the vodka has gained all that color, you can feel free to remove it. It might be a little difficult, because adding bubble gum to vodka is almost like your mouth chewing it, and it gets kind of sticky. In any case, next you're gonna add a half an ounce or about 15 milliliters of honey syrup, which for me is gonna be a full ounce because I'm doubling things up because I got a big glass over here. Single ounce. This is a very robust smelling honey syrup. Very robust smelling. Pour that up on top, and then what you'll do, because it's a gin and tonic, it's a special gin and tonic. Please excuse me there. It's very tasty honey syrup. You'll top it off. Top it off with tonic water. That is not a twist off. That hurt. Top it off with tonic water. I think I'm just gonna be able to use the rest of this tonic water here, so we're gonna go with it. You could optionally stir this if you want to. You probably don't need to because this is gonna do the job. If it was at the bottom, it would kind of mix itself for you. I'll do a bit of a mix there. I think that's probably useful. All right, I'll pop that off to the side. I didn't actually use all of it. Now, finally, before I add the garnish, I'll give this a bit of a stir. Put our thing in there. Doesn't need to be stirred too long. The stirring here is not for dilution. It's for... I mean, it's going to dilute anyway, but it's mostly to get things situated. Oh, that's so good. Oh my god. You need a garnish. So in the game, it is noted with an appearance of an orange flower, and I saw a cool Pinterest thing that said that you can dry pineapple slices to create an orange flower-looking thing, and my god, I have no idea what the fuck I did. I put these, it said put cranberry juice on pineapple slices and bake them in the oven until they dry out and start to curl up. Well, I put some fruit sangria punch that I made for the holidays on top of some pineapple slices, and I put that in my dehydrator for like 18 hours on like 125 degrees, and I made these things. They're still gushy. It's okay. It's okay. This is the show about honesty. So I'm gonna take this orange flower looking thing. I'm just going to cut it ever so slightly. There we go. And we'll put your knife away. Put your knife away. We'll pop that on the drink as it would appear in the game itself. It's a large old thing. Large old thing, large old cocktail. And look at that. Pop this back a little bit. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. Boopity boopity boop. There. Ooh, I'm seeing my encoded is a little bit overloaded. How could it be? How could everything be overloaded like that? I think everything's okay. Everything will be okay. I will look into that. Alright, cool. So I have things over here. If there's any bit of stutteringness, evidently I'm doing some things wrong over here, so I would like to formally apologize for that. Things are going a little wonky over here. It's okay. We record these things too. We do. Yeah. Oh, things look good on the Twitch side, and that's the side that I care most about, so I'm still getting used to the whole YouTube thing. In any case, we'll continue. So I'm gonna grab myself a straw for this guy. I think it goes well with one of these cool, like, striped straws and stuff. I will take a bit of a... pop this over